How the fuck can't I hear it?
I can hear it anyway.
Can you, not that one. Could you go back? Go find the one. Go back to Independence Live. Click on.
I'm on the one with the dog.
I've got it. I've got it. It's live. It's like. It's like this. I don't know why this was accident. Fuck! This is the slippiest one I've ever had. Why is that not fucking? You make. Jesus fucking Christ.
Is it not plugged in?
I wasn't plugged in right now. I can't see the screen. Can you see the screen there? I can't even see. What is it?
Go to your settings, I think.
Can you see settings there?
Yeah, you need to right click it on there.
I've done it. That's what I get. Display settings. See brightness, there it's. Oh, fuck, for that panic. Been over. Bob, see, wild cats, they won't come here, I will get them to speak, because you don't know that. So I need to so, you know, I was in so I didn't keep. No, you just go in and park. As I say, see where the wee cabin is when you drive in. We should Monday to Thursday there's somebody there. They'll charge £4 for the whole day's parking. You're not allowed to park on a Friday because obviously it's prayer day and it's for worshippers more than open to the public. Saturday, Sunday is free. So who's on today in the running order today?
Yeah, me, and then Kevin Gibson, and then Scally. He said to me he was putting the names on after us. I'll just get the boys to play longer, but I told them that
With yourselves, it was just like the last time. It was pretty much an all-day thing.
Well, that's what I thought. And then your guy that books the bands,
Money.
I said to me, I'll put the names on after you be the headliner. And I just thought that's what was happening. And then I noticed that the names were in Manchester, so I thought, well, that's no happening.
Hold on just a minute. Just out of curiosity.
But hopefully you get to see they're not coming past shortly. Sorry, what's the time?
Is it really jiggered here today? No. No.
Awesome. Okay, so it's 12:04.
Well, just out of curiosity, because they were really good last time. Unfortunately, the only thing with them last year, they were all too early. But they were brilliant.
In the luxury of offices. But it's a
well, we were only supposed to be going 49 because we were making class for the March. We didn't want us to class into the March. So I don't think I know that the money though, but So we start at 4 if that's all right, and then we'll run past 9, that's not a problem.
Yeah, you can say you're being positive. There's a guy giving me comments, but I'm not having like people degrading and people from political parties and having stabs. Don't need to do it, you know. If you can be positive, don't say anything. Did your mother not teach you that? So we got 100 people watching. Awesome. Independence Live. And it's really gem here. So we only need 100 of us, and there's 100 of us just watching online. Haha, Independence Now. Independence Now. So who watching wants Independence Now? If you want Independence Now, let me see some thumbs up and some hearts. Yes, they're getting them. Hello. For Independence Live, so we're live streaming. And you, yes, guilty. I like your badges. It's some good badges then.
That's all right. No, I was still getting upset. No, because it's Greg said that I was
yes. Yes, beautiful. Yeah, I was disappointed there's no bikers this year, but they explained it to me. Yeah, they said, because I was trying to get to live stream from the back of one of the Harleys. No, I know that, but it's a bit sad. I know. It's a pity because they normally finish off in George Square. Glasgow Green, like I said, they normally finish off in Glasgow Green. Yeah, it is, but there's also a game, there's a Celtic game that's coming out. And then, are you going down to the Clutha afterwards? You going down to the Clutha bar afterwards? You going down to the Clutha bar afterwards? Because they're going to be having live music there? Yeah. Oh, you can't miss that, man. Oh. And my daughter's sending me a message saying, Mum. And I can't answer her right now. We'll miss the start of the march. Okay. I'm going to just finish this quickly and start again because the calls of a mother come before anything else. I'll be starting again now, guys, so don't you please when I start.
Thank you.
Aye, big Sheldon, he's fair cock the miles now, eh? Great to see people getting their cameras out filming this as well. Yeah, we're on our way to George Square, just literally leaving Kelvingrove Park, as you can see. Yeah, so I think probably a good time to point out, as Pete said there, there's a festival event happening at the Close of this evening from 4 PM. Obviously the boozer is already open, so you can feel free to make your way there at any point before or after the rally. Some phenomenal live music from the grassroots, so be sure to check out that in person, pop down. If not, it will be covered on Independence Live. So yeah, double event today. But yeah, over 100 people on the stream watching, thank you very much for joining us. If you haven't done so already, smash that reaction button. Help us beat the Facebook algorithms, get the appetite for Scottish independence out there. We'll have a few fans in the live stream there. Yeah. What are your tunes, I believe, PT? Get the always get the best angles.
Awesome.
Big smiler coming as well. A big smiler, should I say?
Yeah, let's go.
Good. Yeah.
Go on then, the guy at the front, keep going. Just get close to their change out the way. Keep going, keep going. One,
Joys of Facebook and social media, eh? Somebody yesterday out as well. I don't know if Oban is on the calendar this year, unfortunately. But listen, if you want a wee walk in Oban, Carolyn, reach out to Yes Oban and see if you can get one put together. There's no reason we can't be organising events all the way across the country. So this is the tail end of the march here, coming out of the park. I'd probably put it maybe 3,500 to 4,000 at the moment. But then you've got to bear in mind that as we get through closer to Glasgow, there'll be people joining in, so kind of get a proper reflection in the numbers at George Square. But yeah, decent number for the kind of post-COVID world, I suppose. Don't worry, Roxy, you're here, you're right. Well, I say right at the front, you're right at the back now, unfortunately. I missed the front, it was gone. It's gone. Sorry, we'll get back there before the end. So yeah. Yeah, can't disagree with you that having a national day of action all the way around Scotland, every town, every city, every street corner. You know, because listen, believe me and you, as someone that does this kind of live streaming gig on a far too regular basis nowadays, it's not that hard. You know, we can all go live on our own Facebook pages and flood social media with saltires in our gardens, saltires in our street corners, with our friends or our family. You know, we don't all necessarily need to pour into the cities. It's just about finding our local communities. But yeah, listen, the network, I've always found the National Yes Registry. Check them out, gives you information about all the groups around all of Scotland. What's in your local area, what maybe we'll be into your niche market. Still not a Yes Dogs page, unfortunately. Quite a sight for the two of us. Yeah, I'd certainly say a good turnout. It's compared to what we've seen in Glasgow and Edinburgh recently. Paisley as well. Sorry, buddy. Yeah. Every town, every village, every hamlet, every corner of the country, aye. Can't be that hard to organise, eh? That's a fair size of flag, that as well. I was going to say a bit, no, that won't be light, will it? Huh? Pensioners for a day group out in Glasgow as well. Is it a Glasgow group? Where do you tend to do your stalls? Where do you tend to do your stalls? Superb. Miller Street. Fantastic. And what have you found the response has been from people over the last few weeks and months since you've been back out? Yeah.
An awful lot of foreigners coming past the stall because they're Gallo Street, and they're all very, very much in favour of Scottish.
Yeah. Super. Well, keep up the good work and we'll see you in George Square.
Right, thank you.
Is that Sandra? Mary. Right, no, just someone in the team said hi Sandra. I wasn't sure if one of you were called Sandra. Maybe someone just watching, that's fine.
Yes.
Oh, the Indian marchers sing this song, freedom. Anyone can march along, join with us today. March along, march away. Every man in the top
Oh, that's a nice Lamborghini, that. Be a better way to get round to town. Aye, doing good, you're looking well. Just we went with the S2 stream out, trying to get up the front.
It's just my own stream.
Oh, just your own stream today on the Wendy McDonald page?
But in the live store at Kevin's street that where he gets.
Ah, right, sound. See you soon, stay safe.
Well done.
Oh, cheers, thank you. Same to yourself, by the way. Wendy was a fellow Alba Council candidate like myself as well. We'll not talk about the election results on this stream. But yeah, for a party it was over. It's over 12 months old. Got to start somewhere. Well, we started, we'll see where it goes to. Driver's quite a happy boy to see us. Normally the drivers get upset at a wee bit of traffic disruption. Plenty of smiley faces from the cars going by. Right, good, how you keeping? So I might have a wee walk down ahead here and get up on that bridge, eh? Must have missed the best comment of the day there. Is there any dead people walking? I don't think that's the best comment, that's a bit... I mean... I don't even know where to start off with that one, pal. Yeah, as you can see, there's plenty of people joining the march as we pod through the town. Quite a few up on this bridge already. Bridge or brig, depending on what part of the country you come from. So for those that are maybe seeing Glasgow for the very first time today, this is the very bottom of Sauchiehall Street, where they built the M8 motorway right through the heart of the town. Charing Cross. So now I can get across here absolutely sound because of the post and all that, but that's it. Oh my. See, that was a I wasn't happy to I was unhappy to see you two. Oh, love it. Building up there, that's the old, or the now new Glasgow Arts College. We burnt down twice in the last 10 years.
Hopefully we're allowed to take up the sausages. Yes, it's not by minutes. Yes, we're not spread out this way. Whole street ahead of us. We're heading to George Square, so if you want to meet everyone there, it'll be grand. Look at the people behind us. So we've got several people with big speakers along the way, all playing different music, and it's next to our festivities. I'm just sneaking up the side so we can get closer to the front of the march. Okay, I'm going to swap hands. Hold on a second. Oh, got some good drumming ahead of us. So just now before I had to go unexpectedly for a short bit, just before the beginning of the march, we had 124 people watching. So if you want to share the live feed, get other people who want to watch, who couldn't be here, who are interested in watching, because people always say to miss this. Of course you can watch it afterwards. It'll be up on the Independent Live Facebook page, but it's kind of nice to be there while it's happening. So I encourage people to share this to people who you think will be interested. They can watch. So I think it's very clear that this is all gaining momentum again. And isn't it nice not to all have to wear masks, huh? Loving that moustache. So here we stop for a brief bit. See if I can sneak in here. For us, for our children, for our future, defend our NHS. the wind's really doing nice things to the flags. And that's everyone behind us. The whole street's full. And everyone in front of us. Sorry. This is mosque. So, back at the front. Actually like doing the marches because they get to get the full spirit of Scotland. Oh well, we're going down here then. Yay! Looking good, guys! Sorry. Yes, yes, yes!
I didn't know if you were.
I love your shirt. What does it say? You can sub your union of your
Spread shirt.
Brilliant. Check that out on Independence Live. Doing good, ladies. Yay! Looking good, sir. Oh, I love this woman. She's brilliant. Yay! That's beautiful. Seeing all the beautiful people of Glasgow and all the people who come from elsewhere to come to the marches. There's a woman diving across the street. Ah! Looking good, guys. Hello, dog. Hello, mommy dog. Good, everyone. Oh, that looks good. Inflation rate pay equals recruit and retain. Everyone's having their say. So, there's everyone up the street. Hello.
One actually went one fire, so
Sounding good. I think all the mummies are carrying their kids deserve a medal. Yes, it's time for independence. Honest politicians. I don't know if that's possible. I think that's what I said to everyone. Didn't you like concentrate on the politics and the splits in the politics? Because you trust politicians anyway. Smile, you're an independent life. Sounding brilliant. You're on Independence Live. Here comes the big flag. Yeah! Looking good, people. Smile, you're on Independence Live. There goes our big flag. I love those flags. Anyone else like the big flags? Looking good. Independence Live. And the dog in the pram. So I hope those watching are enjoying themselves. Sorry. Looking good. See the seal behind us. I've actually walked down that and it's quite steep. There we go. Reclaim independence. Westminster is a blight on Scotland's health, prosperity and national well-being. And there's the polis at the back of it. I think they just like the marches, to be honest, because it's such a good vibe, because you don't see any of them complaining. Okay, we're going to catch up again. Gems on the move. We gems on the move. I'm just going to swap hands. There we go. So I apologize for this to be a bit bumpy. Hello. But I'm actually walking at the march. And I think I'm walking more than everyone else because I'm walking backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. And it's all fun. It's lovely. So I encourage people to come to the marches. It seems like COVID's not such a big thing anymore. And most people have had their jabs if they wanted to have them. And people are recovering quickly from if they get COVID in general.
can see alright, that's us getting down to the bottom here, right in front. Them all coming down the hill because it does look terrific. Just waiting on everybody catching up at that hill there. I've just moved on a bit so I get them all coming down it because I do love that side. Bring a tear to your own. Hope you can all see alright. I can't see what any I'm saying, really sorry. Right, that's all getting ready again. Tony!
No, no,
looking good, people. Loving this hat. Looking good. So here's the end of the march coming into George Square. So I hope you enjoyed watching. Go back and see if you fancied someone along the way. You want to find out how to contact them. And a big shout out to all the stewards, the police, all on one banner for organising this. Went brilliant, and I noticed, I don't know if anyone saw them, but I didn't see any of the unionists giving us the usual trouble they give us. So I'm going to go and find another power bank, and then we'll be seeing you again. But this is We Jim signing off for Independence Live. I'm just going to show you the big flag on the ground so you can actually see how big it is. Look at that. Cracking flag. So there's lots of people here. So you always get your people at the beginning when you start filming and they're like, oh, there's not many people there. But some people just like to criticize. They're not here, they're not doing anything, and they just like to criticize. So I'll show you the stalls just now, because there's yes, there are stones for yes, yes for stones, stones for yes. And I'm just going to grab a bit of a breather, get rid of my jacket, and we'll be back. But that's it. At George Square, the end of the march, and we're all going to be going towards, well, not everyone, but lots of people are going to be going to the Clutha for traditional Scottish music. So thanks for watching, people. Yeah. Looking good. Okay, so that's signing off. Love you all. We'll see you just now. Bye, 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 bye.
Texas winds, hatred was in the air. The old John Bull, the divide and rule, a crime that mob was hate. But their ignorance and indifference, they were shown to take the weight. Stayed faced against that violence. John said, sisters, no. Eldon left the St. Andrew's cross. Flag of nation hold. Did not flinch, no give an inch to one nation. Attacked and they cooked and poached and spit. Among those who disagree, all that campaign through peaceful gain for a country to be free. The Britannia order was sold, and the soil, the Scottish ale. Disband these sisters in arms for driving from the square. The whole state faced against that violent mass. The Johnson sisters stood and held up the St. Andrew's cross. The flag of the nation. And march those girls away and imprisoned them in the cells at night for what crime they would not say. Sarah and Sophie Johnston, remember those sisters' names, for they represent future and the king of fire flame. They're the fire of fascist blades who represent the past and cling to a dying union. Oh, dying is cats. They're old and state face against that violent mess. The Johnson sisters stood and held it up the St. Andrew's cross, a flag of nation hold. They do not flinch, nor give an inch to one nation of faith. None is stupid ground. Thank you very much, the Johnston sisters. This song was written 2 days after the referendum. It's a tribute song to each and every one of you. And anyone here today who voted no but have decided to join the ranks of the Yes movement. We stand proud, our conscience clear. We did not yield to the project fear. The propaganda, the shameful lies, the mask has slipped, the war in disguise. For social justice, prosperity, turn our country on its culture of poverty. We are the 45. We stand together and united we'll rise. We are the 45. The torch is lit and never shall it die. Join the 45. And then to trident and the legal wars, and the killing and the dying for the rich man's cause. And until Westminster elitist rule, Etonian ways of living. So come join us, oh shoulders to the wheel. In strength and numbers, Scotland shall prevail. We are the 45. We stand together and united we'll raise. We are the 45. The torch is lit and never shall it die. Join the 45. Let's wave these flags. Come on, give these flags away, man. People know that we are here. Beautiful. Till the rocks they melt in the sun, shall press on till the day is won. Till the locks they run dry, we will not yield till the dream is realized. So come join us, oh shout us to the world. Strength and numbers, Scotland shall prevail. We are the 45. We stand together and united we'll raise. We are the 45. The torch is lit and never shall much, thank you. Cheers, thanks. Right, we're going to finish off with one more song and then we're moving on with the proceedings. I think we've got some people coming up to do some speeches and some other live music as well. Right, let's get the flags waving this time. We're all here for one thing, and it's independence of Scotland. So let's get the flags on the go this time. We'll get the guy in the camera, the team here to maybe film the crowd as well, because they're the most important people. Let's give them a little shout as well. So wave the flag is a song that I wrote 2013 about my reasons for wanting Scottish independence. It's a song called Independence Day. Hey, come on, get those flags waving. Standing on the square today with my yes badge on. Stranger, he approached me to tell me I was wrong. Said I was a dreamer, or would I let him have his say? I say yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of Independence Day. And when that day comes around, coming will for sure. Whatever country, we're all came to the show. Nation of equality, fairness and respect. And the government we vote for is a government we get. Independence Day, Independence Day. Yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of an Independence Day. I'm not anti-English, I'm not an Irish or the Welsh. I'm just dreaming of a country that distributes its wealth. Down to the people, I really have opportunity. Let the trades free themselves from the traps of poverty. Oh, Independence Day, Independence Day. Yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of an Independence Day. Hey! Palestine. I'm just dreaming of a country one day we'll be free to determine our own future, the people's destiny. Independence Day, Independence Day. Yes, my friend, I'm dreaming of an Independence Day. Square today with still my yes badge on. Stranger, he approached me to tell me I was wrong. Say I was a dreamer, and when I said yeah, dreaming of Independence Day. Thanks for having us, all the best, folks. Take care of yourself. We're doing an after party at the Cluthy Bar after the rally at the Cluther if you want to hear more of us and Eddie and other musicians. All the best. Cheers.
Thanks, Kevin, for that introduction to the rally. Anne Mullen, could you make your way to the stage, please? She'll be up in a second. My name's Bob Fotheringham. I'm part of the All Under One Banner team, and I would like to thank everybody for turning up today. It's brilliant to see you. As you probably know, the start of these rallies, I start off by saying a few things, a few remarks, and just want to make a few points before Anne comes up. First of all, last week's council elections delivered another mandate for independence. The vast majority of people in Scotland voted for independence. So our message, and it continues to be our message to the Scottish Government, use the mandate. Give us the right to decide the sort of country we want to live in, the future that we want. Use the mandate now. That's the first point. I'm not going to take too long. Second point is about the NHS. As you know, this demonstration is about our NHS. It's about defending the National Health Service. Throughout the pandemic, we cheered, we clapped, we showed our support for the National Health Service. Boris Johnson even said it was the National Health Service that saved his life. Remember when he was on intensive care due to COVID? Well, I've got a message to Boris Johnson and to the politicians. Fine words do not put food in children's bellies. It does not give the workers in the NHS a decent wage. It does not deal with waiting lists. It does not deal with people waiting years to get vital surgery. These words do not matter. What we need is action. And if that action means that we need an independent Scotland to do it, then so be it. Let's move forward with independence and invest in our NHS. That's our message today. Second point is about the cost of living crisis. I think we've got to say about the cost of living crisis. Because everybody here is suffering. We all are. And the sooner we get independence to help that, the better. But I think I've reached the level of political absurdity when Boris Johnson says to tackle the cost of living crisis, he has to put 90,000 civil servants on the dole. How absurd is that? Never mind taxing the energy companies. Never mind taxing the oil companies. Never mind taxing the armament companies. Throw 90,000 people on the dole. Simply not good enough. Quite honestly, it's not good enough. That's why we need independence in Scotland. To make sure that we invest in people, that we support people, that we build a better future and a better Scotland. And I'm going to make one final point here before I go. Not one person in Scotland should have their electricity and heating shut off because of the cost of living crisis and the energy crisis. We in the independence movement will support you. We will take action. We'll hit the streets. Not one person has their electricity cut off. And that's to Nicola Sturgeon as well as to Boris Johnson. Okay. Thanks very much, folks. That's me. You'll be glad to hear. So, Anne, you're first.
Hi, hello, I hope you can all hear me properly. I'm Anne Mullen, I'm a GP in the NHS. I've been a GP for many decades, or a few decades at least. Thank you for allowing me to speak at this fantastic event. I'm giving a wee shout out to my NHS for Yes group, which we formed in 2014, just before the first independence vote, and whilst that outcome of that vote wasn't what we hoped for, then we've kept going as a group. And I'd urge you to join us because ultimately the argument for keeping the NHS in public hands has become even more pressing today. And a little bit of history. The blueprint for the NHS originated in Scotland, originally modelled on the Highlands and Islands Medical Service, which was established in Scotland in 1913 to address the challenges of delivering healthcare there. The separate Scottish NHS bill was ready early in 1946, but was delayed to avoid problems for the launch of the 1948 NHS bill in England and Wales, but Scotland has always had its own NHS. The four pillars of the NHS are public funding, public ownership, public provision, and accessible universal care free at the point of delivery. These are the founding principles of the NHS. These are worth fighting for. The health service should be best where it's needed most. If it's resourced adequately with time, costed into equation, the health service can achieve great things. The NHS across the UK has been struggling, however, to address unmet need, and this is pre-COVID. All these issues have just been accumulating over time. Because of sustained disinvestment via a 10-year budget squeeze, lack of capacity of hospitals with bed cuts, we've got an ageing population, and I'll soon be part of that ageing population. Major staff shortages, we have 100,000 shortages of staff across the UK, and Brexit compounds this because we have 5% of the staff in the NHS are from the EU, and that doesn't sound a lot, but when you think they are extremely highly trained professionals, it's a huge loss to the NHS. And we have inadequate provision of social care, so perhaps the time has come to bring social care under the umbrella of the NHS in Scotland and nationalise the care home sector. There is an ambitious programme of recovery for the NHS of Scotland following the challenges of the pandemic, which isn't over yet, and so do please still follow public health guidance. The key themes of the NHS in Scotland is health of the nation, delivering personalised care, reducing health inequalities, which I feel very passionately about, sustainability of our workforce, green and sustainable healthcare. As a GP, I would support extra resource for community health provision. The primary care team, which also includes health visitors, district nurses, community pharmacy, midwives, CPNs, physios, and other excellent workers, is based in the community, but not in hospital or acute settings. 90% of healthcare contact takes place in the community. Therefore, any resource to reduce unmet need, control rising demand, and close the health inequity gap must be focused here. The end of healthy living expectancy is as much as 2 decades when you compare affluent communities to communities with low socioeconomic status and income, and that is true across the UK. You may all have heard of the Glasgow effect, where people die much earlier in economically poorer communities, and we also have the effect of rural poverty in Scotland with poor health outcomes. The health service cannot solve all these issues in isolation because we know that the social causes of illness are just as important as the physical ones. I'm now going to talk about a wellbeing economy, which is highly relevant to the NHS and health outcomes. We need our political system to support the social infrastructure that ensures individual and community resilience, affordable housing, green spaces, adequately paid employment, universal health care, robust social support. In Scotland, we have free prescriptions, which cost £9.35 per item south of the border, free eye checks, which I believe are over £21 south of the border, the baby box, the Scottish Child Payment, a very welcome new benefit, £20 a week per child, 100,000 affordable homes, funded early learning and childcare. These are all great examples of aspirational political choices for the benefit of individual and society. And I want to remind you of the comments of Philip Austin, the UN Special Rapporteur on Extreme Poverty, during a visit to the UK in November 2019, the UK being the 5th largest economy in the world. 14 million people live in poverty, that's 1 in 5 people. 4.5 million children live before the poverty line, that's 1 in 3 children. 1.5 million are destitute and cannot afford housing, food, basic essential items. There are rising numbers of homeless, and the strongest indicator of homelessness in adulthood is living in childhood poverty. 5 million people were using food banks at that point, which is even more stark now because 14.5 million across the UK live in poverty and rely on food banks for survival. Does that sound like the foundation of a well-being economy? Or the actions of a government, and I'm specifically talking about the UK government now, that is working for the majority of its citizens? Most people are poorer today than they were in 2010, when the Conservative government first came to power, and it'll get worse with the living cost of living crisis. Is that something that's acceptable to us in the 21st century, when there are other models of government that demonstrate what can be achieved when a humane political system evolves that makes choices for the benefit of the common good? But here we are. Taxpayer money is hemorrhaging out the system across the UK with a poor return on investment. Over the last 10 years, £96 billion of taxpayer money has gone to private healthcare companies, money that should have gone to the NHS, and is rising in year on year. What an expensive sticking plaster. During 2021, the UK government bought £12.1 billion of PPE, protective equipment. 8.7 billion of this was written off due to faulty goods and the lack of due diligence with crony contracts. The test and trace scheme cost 37 billion, which according to the Public Accounts Committee has achieved none of its aims. This is revenue that was lost to NHS funding and other vital services. Perhaps people wouldn't have to live on 30p meals a day and journey on buses daily to keep warm if we had that money back in the economy. The champions of Brexit, which Scotland unanimously did not vote for, promised 350 million of new funding in the NHS each week, but Brexit has cost the UK £9 billion a year, or around 173 million a week, about 25 million a day, or just over 1 million every single hour. A column appeared in The Spectator in 1995, penned by a certain Boris Johnson, who called for patients to be charged to use the NHS to prevent free care being abused by people who can afford to pay. He wrote that free healthcare should be only for those who are genuinely sick and for the elderly, and that if people have to pay for NHS services, they will value them more. And he also wrote, it seems reasonable that the middle classes should be required to stump up for non-essential services they can well afford. This is a commentary full of disdain and a lack of understanding of the value of the NHS. Fast forward to 2022, and the UK government has just passed a health and care bill, which will allow the UK government to turn the UK system into something much more like the US system of insurance-based medical care, where 2/3 of US personal bankruptcies are due to medical bills. This has been a long project over 2 decades, but this bill will accelerate the unthinkable, and I see someone with a fantastic placard there of all the fees that you may have to pay if the NHS is privatised and went. Scotland's NHS cannot be protected under the current arrangements on this disastrous turn, and I'd urge you to read some of the very informative sites where colleagues are raising their concerns about the direction of travel for NHS England, such as Every Doctor UK, Socialist Health Association, the 99%.org. These are great informative sites, and the documents are not too long. So, until Scotland has full autonomy and control of the levers of power, we cannot create our wellbeing economy that I believe most of us would support, yes, enshrined in a written constitution with the Scottish NHS at its beating heart. Despite all the current difficulties and challenges, and there are many, the NHS in Scotland is still there for all of us, every citizen. It is the ultimate social contract, a gift economy. Support the 4 pillars of the NHS. Be as informed as possible about the aims of the NHS in Scotland. Do not be passive recipients of this precious resource, but active participants in the delivery of healthcare. Do you want to gift Scotland's NHS to the next generation, or have it stolen from them? That is the choice we must make now. Think carefully, choose wisely, Scotland, and onwards to independence.
Thanks very much, Anne. That was a very, very useful speech and passionate speech. The next person we've got up is Martin Day, SNP MP. Martin.
Hello, thank you. It's good to be here with you this afternoon, fellow independent supporters. And we've reached a milestone in our independence campaign because we have just passed what will be the last electoral event before our referendum. So that means we all need to work together like we have never done before, with a vision and a passion. It doesn't mean that we all need to agree with one another, not by a long shot, because I think actually 1,000 different voices with different visions of how independence can be is a great message for bringing people over and enhancing the vote that we get at the end of the day. There is, of course, a lot that we do all agree on, and today's theme for this rally being protecting the NHS is one of those themes. And we would all agree that the NHS has done tremendous work for us all during the pandemic and beyond. And I think we should all send our thanks to the people on the front lines that delivered that. So, now, the pandemic, of course, highlights a number of positives to do with Home Rule because it's devolved. It shows that we can govern things sensibly. We can take the next step. But on the other hand, it also shows us the pitfalls of being held back by Westminster power and the stark reality of how decisions are made in England and through the other nations. I'll come on. I'll keep coming. Now, in England, and it's a great example, when the English health minister decides they need to spend more money, they go and speak to their friends in the cabinet, and their pal at the Treasury comes up with the money. And you know where they get it? They get it through your taxes, and they borrow it internationally, like every other country does around the world. But when we have an issue in Scotland, we don't get that. We have to wait for the consequential effects of the decisions that they make in England. That is an absolutely ludicrous position. The only thing more ludicrous than that is the fact that we have Labour and Tory politicians trying to tell us that that's a union of equals. Aye, right. Now, it gets even worse than that because we've just had the UK Internal Market Act. And if you haven't heard of this great story to frighten the kids, you need to be frightening the kids and the pensioners with it. Because what it means is the comprehensive health service, publicly funded, free at the point of need that we so cherish, can be undermined by British government ministers with a stroke of a pen opening up our services to what they see as market access. And that's not on. But the risk doesn't stop there either. Because announced in the coming parliamentary session are the twin evils of further austerity and more power grabs. So we're at this nexus point where the Scottish Parliament can go forward with independence, protecting and enhancing the powers that we already have, or it can go backwards. And I make this statement not lightly, not glibly, the days of devolution are numbered. What comes next is up to us, each and every one of us. Indeed. And we will decide that for ourselves here in Scotland, not somebody in London, not know your place unionism. It comes down to democracy. And in Scotland, as we all know, sovereignty rests with the people, and we are the people. We have one job to do over the coming months, and that is to convince the majority of our fellow countrymen and women that independence is the way forward. And when we do that, we are unstoppable, and nothing will hold us back. No wee lousy haircut boy down in London. We're doing it, and we're going to take us there. Woe betide anyone that stands in the way of history. And I've got a wee story to tell you, because independence is normal. It's what every other nation does. My partner's here in the front row, and as you can see from looking at her, she's from India. And a few years ago, I was across visiting my in-laws for the first time in Kerala, and we were in Trivandrum. And her great uncle was a very elderly man at the time, sadly now deceased in his late 90s. And he'd played his part in India's fight for freedom. And it's fascinating stories he told me. I won't tell you them all here, I'd be here for the rest of the day. But basically, he played his part as part of the Indian National Congress movement. He leaked information from the British Civil Service to the freedom fighters, kept them ahead of the jail. And then when they got independence, he joined the communists, and he was part of the first communist victory when they won Kerala in the 1950s. There is a political realignment that happens, but until we get there, we all have to be pushing in the one direction, and that direction is independence. And I say, as a warning to our friends in the Scottish Labour Party, you have a limited window to be on the right side of history. Don't make a mistake. Be on the side of the Democrats, because when Kerala had its first democratic election, and it's famous the world over for being the first place the communists won an electoral mandate, But what's more interesting, and I saw the political leaflets and posters for that first campaign, every victorious candidate, irrespective of which party they represented, featured on the number of times they'd been arrested by the British and how long they'd spent in British prisons. The people that sided with the Brits were wiped away. And the same will happen here, because when you put your faith in a country to go forward, you back the people that have the faith to do it. And the old lad said to me a number of stories, that would inspire you all today, but he warned me to beware of what they faced at the time. And it's the same British establishment that we're fighting. They will try and divide us, and they use divide and rule tactics. We must not fall for them. Now, we won't always agree, but when we disagree, let's have a wee chat amongst ourselves and remember who we're fighting. And I'll leave you with the last comment I had with him, the last time I saw him. And I'd always wanted to ask someone who'd been involved in a freedom fight this question. And I says to him, do you ever have any regrets about independence? And the old boy looked at me, and to my surprise, he said yes. And then added, I didn't do enough. Well, let's make damn sure that every one of us does everything we can, and I pledge this. I'll be doing everything I can, day in and day out, until we get there. Hold me to that, and I'll be holding you to the same. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Martin. Couple of wee announcements. First of all, Mike Fennick, who runs the Declaration for Sovereign Scotland, is taking signatories over by the India 2 Cafe. So if you want to go and sign his declaration, you're welcome to go over there. Second wee announcement, somebody left a purse at the cafe. So if you've lost your purse, you tap and purse, come up and get it from me behind the stage here. It's here for you. Okay, next speaker is Feroz. Feroz is an NHS worker, anti-racist activist, and a trade union activist. She's up here to give us a few words. Feroz. Thank you.
Hello everyone, it's amazing to see you from up here, it's absolutely huge. And it was really amazing to see the first banner coming through George Square, and that is to defend the NHS, and that's everybody's responsibility in Scotland. And looking at that list of prices, very scary. Very scary, and even more that we have to defend the NHS. It was amazing to listen to Anne and Neil before me, really informative. So last night I was at a friend's house and I came across a poem on their wall. I can't remember word for word what it said, but the basic message it was putting out there was that the government needs to fund education and health and not the military, and have the military to carry out a jumble sale to fund their guns and rockets that kill people. It's a message of education and health and not warfare. You can relate this simply with the powerful message to the government where they are privatising the NHS, which only leeches the NHS of money rather than actually benefiting the service. Rich businessmen and women have made millions and taken from the NHS through dodgy contracts rather than benefiting the NHS. And I have to say some of them have been positioned in the boards of the NHS, which is disgusting. The pandemic has only made existing cracks in terms of funding and staffing of the NHS more visible. COVID cases are decreasing, but the NHS is still under a lot of strain due to backlog of treatments and surgeries. NHS departments and staff are still feeling overstretched, with some working longer hours and not taking the breaks. Yesterday I read an article about Rishi Sunak using a very bad excuse for justifying not increasing people's benefits and pensions on an outdated government IT system. How can a government, one of the most richest countries and superpower, have an outdated 80s IT system? It's just a really bad excuse. And I think it's a lie. I mean, how many times have they lied to us? Westminster have no respect for the public and their basic human right for healthcare. Instead, they fill us with lies and take our money to cover their mistakes and wrong dealings. There are new, more food banks more than before. Even some NHS staff actually use food banks. The situation is only going to get worse with increasing living costs and taxes. Our wages have already decreased by £100, whilst inflation is increasing. It's time for a change. It's time for our voices to be heard. It's time for our independent Scotland has to take full control of the health budget to repair the damages Westminster has caused. We do not want the NHS to be privatised. We want it to be funded to a capacity where it can offer full and equal health service, increase staff number for safe practice, and pay staff what they are due. I really hope everybody can take pride of what you have done today and just continue the fight for equality, fight for independence, and what is right for us. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Firouz. Thanks very much for all your information there. And we'd just like to bring in another little bit of music from Leslie O'Brien from the band Kitlin, who's a 21st century modern day folk band. So this is Leslie O'Brien. Big hand.
Hello. I'd like to start with a poem I've written inspired by my family, including all the generations going back. It's really about working class resilience, despite the odds against them. Poverty, war, sickness, disease, poor housing. My poem is called Hope. And in it, I imagine that hope is passed down in my family as a little package. And most importantly, in that little box is a hope for independence. Woo! So that future generations will no longer suffer the shocking conditions, the living conditions that many live under generation after generation. I'm proud to say it's in, if you're into Scottish poetry, it's in Poetry Scotland. So, hope. Hope was passed to me, a warm, tattered package, frayed with despair, tied tightly with the strength of infinite generations battered by injustice. A package of survival that binds its weave tight against the unrelenting attack of war and poverty. That binds its weave tight against the unrelenting attack of war and poverty. Choked with coal dust that seeped into lungs, stole breath of your menfolk, washed with babies' tears, bound by a mother's need to love the others while her youngest lay still, bound by a mother's need to love the others while her youngest lay still. Hope was passed to me, a warm, tattered package, heavy with wisdom of loving and giving, cleansed by resilience of weeping women. I hope was passed to me. Thank you. This next one, I'm joined by Jeremiah on the glockenspiel. This poem's called The Dumgoyne Goddess. It was inspired by the Dumgoyne Hill just outside Glasgow. And when I'm up close to Dumgoyne, I can see a female image. I can see in the rock, in the trees, in the fauna, this silhouette of a woman I can see her ancient face, I can see her breasts and her body lying there. And I'd like you to imagine that she is the rising spirit of Scotland as she calls us for independence. And it goes like this. By Dumgoyne Mound, there's a goddess to be found. By day she lies a mummy in her tomb. At night she rises out a Dumgoyne's womb. Wi' bramble coat and fern fat fleece, she stumbles down by roots and clabber. Mid stour and beast and glowering moon, she sups Craigallum water. By swirling crow she dips her toe and floats upon a lily pad. West Highland walkers come and go, oblivious to this bonny lass. But Carbeth hutters know her ways and feast upon her halcyon days. And if you truly wish to meet and touch her heart, by Froggy Lane alone at dusk you start. Velvet green stepping stones for fairy feet that flee o'er the lull of the Ushkaba. It's my kick, I must come once per week. She haunts me, a baby of the universe, nestling against her weary breast, a bracken, birch and elm. She doesn't scold me, but she wins me o'er. We whispers a contentment from the bow of her campsie helm. She blaws nae wind, but I feel the cold kiss of winter on my cheek, her gentle reminder that you must come once per week. Velvet green stepping stones, it's my kirk, she is mine. Velvet green stepping stones, I am hers, and she is mine. Thank you. I'm going to do a wee song for you now, and it's called Wrap My Heart. I co-wrote it with the fabulous Glaswegian songwriter Jim Byrne. He helped with the music. And when I was writing the words, I wanted to do it in the style of a Scottish ballad. But of course I had to dig quite deep to remember the Scots words. The words that my granny and grandpa used to speak, and I had to use a Scots dictionary, because I'm sure, like many of you, you were told when you spoke some Scots to speak proper English. So I've written it in Scots, and yeah. And it's a call and response between a mother and a child, and the mother is saying, you know, I'll always love you. The child is saying, I'm going to be quite naughty, I'm going to get up to no good. And she's saying, well, I will always love you. And there's a line in the song, I'll hansel you fine with all that is mine. And basically, she's saying that she'll give all her resources, as a mother usually does to their child. And it makes me think about how Scotland, you know, it makes me angry at the resources that we have, the natural resources of wind and water and oil and people. And our wains, there's 1 in 4 that are in poverty. You know, it's shocking that this is happening. So I'd like you to imagine with me a day when there's no more children in Scotland living in poverty. This is called Wrap My Heart. Wrap my heart in a shawl of your love. Shield me fae the rain. Wrap my heart in the stars up above, and together we will remain. My bonny wee child, how happy to bide. Hold ye close fae the start. How handsome ye find wi' all that is mine. Slee old deal, ne'er my gas pert. O mother of mine, ken old feather time, may snack bands her blood, fashion dream, a wicked skelpie, toss and tumble into the mud. I'll wrap your heart in a shawl, my love. I'll shield ye fae the rain. I'll wrap your heart in the stars up above, and together we will remain. Thank you.
We've got a wee quick announcement here from the Indie Cafe. Hi guys, this is Indie 2 Cafe. We were giving our funds today to Homeless Scotland. So we're still going to do that. We just haven't got the presentation check today that was supposed to happen. So we are still giving our funds to Homeless Scotland, okay? Just to let you know. And after independence, we want to close all the food banks. We want to celebrate closing the food banks, not celebrate opening them. Thanks very much. And Obilux, thanks very much. I almost couldn't say that name there. And Nancy McIver, by the way.
Was it?
Just going to introduce the next musical act right now. This is Glasgow's very own the Gallo Gators. What a brilliant name, eh? So this is the fabulous Gallo Gators.
Hey, Henry, sorry, fuck's sake, can you do it, man?
I'm sure they'll be ready in a minute. I mean, they could have done this when we were gabbing about the Indie Cafe. Bloody men, I tell you.
Move it over. Hello, everyone. Let's get the right height of this. Okay. When the night is falling, hear the pipes are calling loudly and proudly calling down through the glen. There where the hills are sleeping, now feel the blood a leaping high as spirits of the old Highland men. Oh, towering and gallant fame, Scotland my mountain name, high may your proud standards gloriously wave. Land o' my high endeavour, land o' the shining river, land o' my heart forever, Scotland the brave. Misty Highlands, out by the Purple Islands, brave are the hearts that beat beneath Scottish skies. Wild are the winds that meet you, staunch are the friends that treat you kind, as the light that shines from fair men's eyes. Oh, towering and gallant flame, Scotland my mountain head, high may your proud standards gloriously wave. Land o' my high endeavour, land o' the shining river, land o' my heart forever, Scotland the brave.
shouts are calling loudly, and proudly calling down through the glen. There where the hills are sleeping, and I feel the blood a leaping high as spirits of the old Highland men. Oh, towering and gallant fair, Scotland, my mountain air, high may your proud standard gloriously wave. Land of a high endeavour, land of the shining river, land of my heart forever, Scotland the brave. Oh, towering and gallant fair, Scotland, my mountain air, high may your proud standard gloriously wave. Land of a high endeavour, land of the shining river, land of my heart forever, Scotland the brave. Oh, land of my heart forever, Scotland the brave. Thank you. This microphone. Up a wee bit more. That's fine. Right, thanks, Bruno. Just thanks everybody for being here. We're delighted to be here. Independence now! Right, that was Scotland the Brave. Next up, the Hawes of Cromdale, our version. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. As I comed in by Auchindown, just a wee bit frae the town, when tae the Highlands I was bound to view the Hawes of Cromdale. I met a man in tatting trews, speared to him what was the news, go he the Highland army roos, ere we come to Cromdale. He said we were in better everyone, when the English host upon us come, a bloody battle then began, upon the Hawes of Cromdale. The English horse, they were so rude, they paid their hoofs in Highland blood, but our brave clans they boldly stood upon the Hawes of Cromdale. But alas, we could no longer stay, at all in the hills we come away, and sair we did lament the day, ere we come to Cromdale. And thus the great Montrose that say, John Highland man, show me the way, and I'll go on the hill this day, to view the Hawes of Cromdale. Oh, they were at dinner, everyone, when the great Montrose upon them come, another battle then began, upon the Hawes of Cromdale. The Grant, Mackenzie and Mackay, as soon as great Montrose they spied, then they fought right valiantly upon the Hawes of Cromdale. McDonald's there and turned again, the Camerons did the standards join, the Macintosh played the bloody game upon the Hawes of Cromdale. On the Gardens boldly did advance, the Frasers fought with sword and lance, the Grahams made the heats to dance upon the Hawes of Cromdale. In the loyal Stuarts, Wayman throws, boldly set upon their foes, let them blow with Highland blows, let them blow at Cromdale. flame upon the hogs of Cromdale. 20,000 come was spent, 1,000 fled the Aberdeen. The rest of them lie on the plain. Oh, upon the hogs of Cromdale. Upon the hogs of Cromdale. Upon the hogs of Cromdale.
Thank you. Okay, last but not least, we're going to do Dark Loch Nagar. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hawaii, green landscapes, the gardens of roses, and you led the minions of luxury road, and restored me the rock where the snowflake reposes, and still they are sacred with freedom and love. Brave Caledonia, here are my mountains, round there my summits, the elements warm, no cataracts roar. Stand the smooth flowing mountains, I sigh for the valley of Dark Loch Nagar. Oh, brave Caledonia, here are my mountains, I sigh for the valley of Dark Loch Nagar. There my young footsteps in infancy wandered. My calm was the bonnet, my cloak was the plaid. On chieftains that haunted, my memory lingered as daily I strayed through the pine-covered glade. I sought not my home till the day's dying glory gave place to the rays of the bright polar star. My fancy was cheered by the bold martial story as told by the sons of Dark Loch Nagar. Oh, brave Caledonia, here are thy mountains, I sigh for the valley of Dark Loch Nagar. Have rolled on Loch Nagar since I left you. Years pass so long, did I see you again? Though nature unveiled you and flowers bereft you, yet still art thou fairer than Albion's plain. England, thy beauties are tame and domestic, to one who has roamed on the mountains afar. Over the crags that are wild and majestic, the steep running glories of Dark Loch Nagar. Oh, brave Caledonia, here are thy mountains. vision foreboding, tell you that fate had forsaken our cause. Yet were you destined to die at Culloden, no victory crown, not your fall with applause. Yet were you happy in thence healthy slumbers, you sleep where you plan in the king's Aubrey land. The clock sounds to the pipers like numbers, your deeds to the echoes of that Lochnagar. Your deeds to the echoes of that Lochnagar. Oh, bring Caledonia here on thy mountain. I sang the valley of dark Lochnagar. Oh, bring Caledonia here on thy mountains. I sang for the valley of dark Lochnagar. Oh, bring Caledonia here on thy mountains. Valley of dark Lochnagar. Oh, bring Caledonia here on thy mountains. Beside for the valley of dark Lochnagar.
Thank you, thank you. We are the Gallo Gators. You'll be hearing more from us soon.
Hello, folks. That's the Gallo Gators. People recognise our own Neil Mackay from the All Underband Banner team here, part of the Gallo Gators. Cheers, Neil. Couple of things. First of all, people will know that this is a part of a series of demonstrations that All Under One Banner are holding. The next one's on the 11th of June in Dumfries, where we're going to theme it around Give the Land Back to the People. So hope to see you on the 11th of June. Anyway, the next couple of speakers coming up hope to address not just the issue of independence, but what sort of country we want. You know, it's not, we can't just talk about independence, we need to talk about the nature of what that actually means. So the first speaker is Colin Fox from the Scottish Socialist Party. Colin.
Thank you much, Bob, and thanks to the Celtic supporters arriving over on the left-hand side there. I'm proud to be here on behalf of the Scottish Socialist Party and proud to be part of the independence movement as we have been for the last 25 years. And we are proud to be an integral part of an independence movement whose message is that independence is about change. Independence is about transformational change. Independence isn't about keeping things the way they are. It's not about keeping the pound, keeping the Queen, keeping Trident, keeping the exploitation of working class people by the rich. No, it's about changing all of that. That's the message that independence is about. And that's the message that I believe we can win a majority support for in Scotland. A message that says independence is about an end to fuel poverty in an energy-rich country like ours. It's an end to the child poverty that sees 1 in 3 children in this city go to bed hungry of an evening. It's an end to the exploitation of working class people by the rich and the powerful. That's what independence is all about, and that's what our message today is all about. Am I right? Of course I'm right. And I have to say, there are people in the leadership of the independence movement who insist that our priority has to reassure Scotland's middle class that nothing will change. And they're wrong, quite frankly, they're wrong. We're never going to win a majority if the message that we send out is we're going to keep things as they are. And the middle class will have to come to terms with the fact that in independent Scotland, they're going to have to pay more taxes. They're going to have to accept that our health service remains and belongs publicly owned by the people of Scotland who built it and who stand side by side by it. Because our message that independence is all about change is conducive to the idea that a majority of working class people will support it. That's what our message is all about. And I have to say, our movement, this independence movement, is at a crossroads today. There's my message to the First Minister is positive and clear, that there is a majority for independence out there in Scotland. There is, if we make it on terms that working class people can see it's to their advantage. It's about abolishing fuel poverty, about abolishing child poverty, about redistributing the great wealth of this country in favour of working people like us, away from the rich, the people at Bailey Gifford in Edinburgh, the second biggest shareholders in the world of Tesla cars, after Elon Musk, that's right, based in Edinburgh. That wealth has to be redistributed to us. That's a core message of what independence is all about, making Scotland more equal, not less. And as far as I'm concerned, for gatherings like this one, like this independence gathering today faces three questions we have to keep asking ourselves. One, why are we behind in the polls? Why is there not a majority for independence now? And if question two essentially asks, is it because our economic case is weak as water and doesn't address the things we said before, then question two is, what are we going to do about it to turn that around? And the third question we have to confront is, if Boris Johnson and Sir Keir Starmer, that knight of the realm, the first knight of the realm ever to lead the Labour Party in 125 years, if Boris Johnson and Keir Starmer are saying Scotland can't have a second referendum, and 600 MPs at Westminster are saying the same thing, then we have to address the question, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about the fact they say we can't have a referendum with permission for Westminster? That's a big question I want you and everybody in this movement to begin to address. Because I'll tell you for one thing, I have no faith in an advisory referendum at Holyrood that's not legal, that's not binding. It didn't work in Catalonia, it won't work here either. And I don't have any faith in an obscure 1950s legal jurisdiction that says that Scotland's got the power when we don't have the power, because it's vested in the 1997 Scotland Act that says the Constitution is at Westminster. These are serious questions we have to address. And for me, the answer is to draw the right conclusion. And that conclusion is, there is no parliamentary road to independence. There is no parliamentary road to independence that goes through Westminster. 600 MPs at Westminster have told you that's the case. We there have to resort to extra parliamentary action to get a majority of people in Scotland behind us and to mobilise them in the same way that we mobilise people against that other affront to our democracy, which was the anti-poll tax campaign that this city led 30 years ago. A mass campaign of defiance against the poll tax. We need a mass campaign against defiant and the idea that we are not going to decide our future, because we are. The majority of people in Scotland will decide if Scotland is independent. And it's our first priority is to win majority support for that we don't have at the minute. And I want to finish here with giving you the same assurance the other speakers here gave. This is a united movement where we have to talk to one another in conversations and solve these questions of tactics and strategy together. And we do that together. You can rest assured the Scottish Socialist Party has adopted that attitude for 25 years of working with our comrades and friends in the independence movement to win our sovereignty and to build that independent socialist Scotland, the modern democratic republic that you and me and so many others want. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, folks, our next speaker is Angela McCormack for the Socialist Workers' Party. Now, Angela isn't just an independence activist, she's also an FE lecturer on strike just now. So, big hand for Angela. Thank you.
Cheers, Bob. Thank you all under one banner. I mean, I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. When you look at the NHS, you have to say thank you to all under one banner, because sometimes somebody just has to step up. Have you not watched over the last few weeks and months and think, what are we doing? So all under one banner, everybody that's been here today is to be absolutely congratulated. I want to talk about the cost of living, the NHS, and have a wee bit of a rant. And if I'm going too long, Bob will shut me up. We look at the unprecedented, callous and cruel energy rises that we're all facing. And I want to say a couple of things. These energy rises that we are facing are despite the fact that in the last couple of weeks, each and every one of these companies declared record billions in profits. Who are they kidding? And these are serious times, and each and every one of us knows it. I want to say these are no accident. It's not inevitable that we just need to put up with this crap and we can't do nothing about it. Energy rises are not the weather. Sunny today, rainy tomorrow. Who can predict? Our argument is that every attack in terms of energy costs is a political choice. The rich in this country are getting richer, and they're only rich because we are poor. They look and go, oh my goodness, people are poor. How did that happen? It happened because at every turn, political choices are made that mean ordinary working class people are asked to pay the price, and we need to say enough is enough. And I believe that's what independence, defending the NHS, for looking for a better future is all about. We are angry, but we are not alone. But I do believe we face something new. Food banks and budgeting cleverly are just not even going to touch it. We need to be fighting back and organising and making the points like you and me and all of us are done today. The area that I live in is already scarred by inequalities. We die earlier, we live longer with serious health problems, we have high incidence of people dying for drugs and alcohol, we've been abandoned, we don't have nice parks, we don't have resources, we don't have schools, we don't have quality public homes. But we are strong in that community, and like how you see the world, under the surface, there are plenty of good people acting together and doing their best in that community. And those are our people. No, the bloody Tories and the rest of them. In the midst of this, our public sector workers, care, health, education, cleansing, rail, bus, everything that we rely on, everybody that works has been told, oh, it's a wee shame, you need to pay the price. It's not enough that your family lost their lives putting themselves on the front line during the pandemic. No, you need to pay again. You need to pay again financially. We need to stand up against that. We need to talk to our people in our community, because we're getting bombarded with this nonsense day in and day out. And we say here today, no way are we paying again. Let the rich pay once in their easy lives. Let them pay. They don't even pay their bloody dues. One of our family members recently needed a scan, an urgent scan, for which there was 12 weeks waiting list. And we went home and we Googled, and a 30-second Google revealed that with £500 in your pocket, you had a choice of scans within 24 hours. We know the difficulties that we have. We look to England and Wales and their health service, but we need to call it out. We have got a two-tier health system. I'm 50 odds. Nobody I ever knew, ever in their life, paid for a single health service. But you know you're hearing that dripping in. The desperate knee, the desperate hip, the desperate scan. I know people that have borrowed hundreds to pay for services on the health service that should be free, and they tell us it's not happening. While hard-pressed staff who kept us going during the lockdown are pushed to their absolute breaking point. Don't listen to me. Listen to what they say, what you know, what the doctors, the nurses, the cleaners, the porters, listen to what they say about our health service now. There's never, and we owe them a debt we can never repay. In my opinion, today is for them. Today is for them. We say, break the British state, not the health service. Break the British state, not the nurses. Break the British state, not the teachers. Break the Tories and the whole rotten, filthy British state, not the poor. And what we do together is our only chance of something different. And I'll finish with a wee shout out to my colleagues. I'm a college lecturer. I'm going into my 7th day of strike action with thousands of college lecturers on Tuesday. And your mainstream media doesn't want to tell you about that. Not because they're worried about us. They're worried about you getting ideas. Oh, look at that. That's actually people striking and taking their employers on. And why are we doing it? We're not the worst paid. But I tell you what, we deserve it. We've worked our butts out for 2 years. We've done everything our employers asked for us. Our employers earn more money than the First Minister, than the Education Minister, and all the day, well, I don't want to be too offensive, no very much, for their tens and tens and tens and thousands of pounds of salary. We've been slagged and insulted by our employers, but we care, we know our worth, we demand respect, and we're acting together. We will not be the last group of workers in a trade union to stand up. What we do together is our only chance of something different. We will not rest, all of us here. We will not rest until injustice is ended. We are angry, but we're organised. The union is the walking dead. We are the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Angela, for that brilliant speech there. Thank you. Neil Hanvey, is he here? Neil Hanvey? Nope. Okay.
We're just going to have another wee musical interlude. And this is from the Pedro Essentials. And they're pretty much a light-hearted indie nonsense group. That's what they said, by the way. I don't know where they are. Right, come on, guys. This is Pedro Essentials. Big hand for Pedro Essentials.
How you doing, folks? Great to be back in Glasgow again. I think we've got a slight technical hitch here. I've not got a semi-acoustic guitar. I'm not actually a guitar player, as you can see. Right, great to be back in Glasgow, city of culture. Everybody enjoy the lockdowns? That went down like a 2-week-old Greg's steak bake. So, we're going to do a wee bit of light-hearted singing today. Nothing too serious. I've been watching a lot of comedy. I did watch a lot of comedy during the lockdowns and so forth. So I picked up a wee bit of this and a wee bit of that. So you've probably heard some of the kind of stuff before. But especially Billy Connolly. Any Billy Connolly fans? Hey! I don't know if you can hear this. Well, I've got piles and you've got scabies. The wind's got the measles, or the dog's got the rabies, oh boy. When you're with me, oh boy, the world will see that you were meant for me. Hear that, mate? Well, I'm losing my hair, my cheeks are falling. There's 6 kids that I was balling. There's nappies in the sink and there's toys in the stairs. When I ask you for support, you say, "On the cells." All my life I've been kissing your left nipple because your right one's missing, oh boy. When you're with me, oh boy, the world will see that you were meant for me. Oh, she told me she was single, did Virginia, when she came down from quarantine. Oh, she took me up to the old oak tree, where she carved her name and her man carved me. Right, so as some of you are probably aware, me and Fiona and a couple of other people done like a walk a few years back there. While everybody was in lockdown, moaning about, oh, there's nothing today. We went out, we walked 500 miles. Well, initially we walked 364, then we had to make it up as time went on. But but this is a wee kind of like, due to time constraints, this is a wee medley that we made up. The napkins.
And I would walk 500 miles
to suit me. This is a story about our first teacher. Zetler made her jumpers and the devil made her feet. Threw up her hands when her mom says her name. Embroidered all his stories with slanderous claims in it. Over and done with, it's over and done. Over and done with, it's over and done with. Over and done with, it's over and done with. The union is over and it's over and done with. This is a story about losing my virginity. I held my breath in my bed in obscurity. People are saying no saints, no mystery. Some might feel like my sex has no history. Over and done with, it's over and done with. Over and done with, it's over and done with. Over and done with, it's over and done with. The union is over, it's over and done with. Going over, gonna be, we're gonna be. Come on, sing up. When we wake up, oh, we know we're gonna go, we're gonna fly the flag of red and white and blue. And we did walk 500 miles and we did walk a wee bit more just to be the folks who walk 1,000 miles to fall down at your
Thanks very much to the Pedro Essentials. I'm sure we're going to hear more of them in the future.
Oh,
but our next act up is called Rituala. That's Eddie Hanvey with a fiddle and an absolutely beautiful Brazilian singer. Welcome.
hold on a sec.
Hi, we're called Rituala. This is Julia over here. She's from Brazil. My name's Eddie. I'm from the equally exotic town of Huddersfield. We do world music. We're very honoured to have been asked to play here to defend the NHS and to support Scottish independence. This is a song by Robert Burns. This is a song by Robert Burns. It's what he thought of the Act of Union.
Thank you.
One more song, Julia. Okay, which is it going to be?
You choose.
Okay, an Irish song.
Okay.
This is an Irish song. It is relevant. It's this is written about the 45, not 45%, about the 45 rebellion, and it's
the same key.
It's in Irish Gaelic.
Gaelic.
Yes. You escaped.
Thank you very much.
That was a nice bit of peaceful music there, and amongst everything. I'm just going to introduce our last speaker for today. It's Julie McAnulty, and she's speaking on behalf of the ISP. And thanks very much again to Rituala. Thank you. And after this, we've got the Calton Jug Band, and then that'll be us finishing up. So we've kept the best till last. I'm only kidding on. But of course, I know, I'm telling the truth. Get this microphone away from me.
Good afternoon, Glasgow. I'm Julie McNulty from the Independence for Scotland Party. And as I say, they've kept the best for last. I've been told to keep it short. Okay, so I'll keep it short. It's absolutely great to be here in the afternoon sunshine today. And the last thing I thought I would need today is sunglasses. But fabulous day. It's great to see you all turned out. We had an election last week. Another one. We didn't all vote for the same parties. We didn't agree on everything. It doesn't matter. We're all here today. We're all united. And we're here to remind ourselves what matters, which is independence for Scotland. Unity matters. Unity matters. Whatever political colour we are, we've put them down today for the colours of the saltire. Yesterday we all belonged to different parties or none, but today we stand as sovereign Scots to claim the right to our independence. Today we vote with our feet. Every one of you that turned out today, this is as important a vote as you cast last week. It matters that we turn out just now because this is not downtime for independence. Independence begins now. It begins with every gathering that we have like this, when we come together. The union's bankrupt. All their arguments against independence have been blown away by Brexit, by Boris, by the pandemic. The only weapons they have against us now are silence, suppression, delay, division. That's why we have to turn up at these things. We mustn't stay silent. We must turn up. We must talk to people. We must debate with the naysayers and encourage the doubters. We help each other out and we stick together. The more we do this, the more we swell our ranks, the readier we will be and the more likely we will be to win our freedom. Today, let's have the conversations. Let's work out what we're doing. Let's talk to each other. Afterwards, in the pubs, with a bit of good music, a bit of good drink, let's sit down and talk together and see where we get. We will be heard. Our movement will be heard. This is our country. Scotland is our country. And this country, it's in Scotland. It's not Westminster, but the people who are sovereign. Thank you very much.
Okay. I think Julie deserves a big round of applause for sticking around all that time. Thanks, Julie. Right, Julie was our last speaker. We're going to finish off with the Carlton Jug Bag. But just to say a few words before we pack up. First of all, thanks for everybody for coming. Brilliant for you to turn out. Thanks for the team, the stewards, the All Under One Banner team, everybody that's helped today. That's what our message is. Independence, defend our NHS. Final point, 11th of June in Dumfries. Let's see you there. Thanks very much for turning up, and then we'll finish off with the Carlton Jug Band, and we'll see you around. Bye.
Two. Hold your horses.
Oh, there we are now. So, hello everybody that's still here. Should get you a bit more danceability. There's a guy giving me the finger there, Bruno. Can you hear now? What's the similarity between Boris Johnson and the clappers of Big Ben? Don't know, do you? They're both massive bellends. Got that off of Google. 10 jokes about Boris. Johnson. I'm sure there's a lot more than that. Anyway, hasta la Victoria siempre. So this is a J.J. Cale song. got that green light, baby.
sure she will.
Well, baby, I don't know.